Well, President Trump has always made clear that he wants to be seen as a consummate deal maker, and he has certainly directed his team, or his team has taken credit for putting the ceasefire deal into place. Dramatic stories in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal about the process by which they convinced Prime Minister Netanyahu to go through with this deal. But that being said, looking at the facts on the ground, Hamas has come out of hiding. They appear to be in good shape to maintain control over the territory in Gaza. Israel has commenced counterterrorism strikes in Jenin in the West Bank. So there continues to be fighting in broader Palestine. And most important, there is no political settlement or even progress toward a political settlement that would remove the causes for violence on either side. The United States has, in fact, fomented or encouraged some additional moves by settlers because President Trump has removed sanctions on Israeli settlers in the Palestinian Authority who have been at the cause of sparking some of this violence. So with Hamas still there, with violence, in fact, more prevalent in the West Bank, it looks like the ceasefire is going to be a deal that allows President Trump to have a honeymoon, but it's not going to fix any of these problems. So it's ironic that President Trump himself probably understands this.
There was a promise of $600 billion in investments from Saudi Arabia, but no details was given. In a White House statement, they acknowledged the call and efforts to bring stability to the Middle East to bolster regional security. Now, in his first term of office, his first trip overseas was to the kingdom. Do you think that he will make a similar move this time?
I think that President Trump conducts foreign policy on a really transactional basis, and the president's first trip abroad is always a moment of strategic and symbolic significance. Previous presidents have done it, for instance, to Canada or to a NATO ally. But as you mentioned, Trump has emphasized commercial relations with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and I think that there's also a very good case to be made that if MBS, the Crown Prince, wants to buy his way back into Washington's good graces, $600 billion will get you a lot of favors. The details of this are incredibly fuzzy. Nobody knows quite what it means. Is it actually going to follow through? The other aspect of this, which is interesting, is that, of course, as you mentioned, Trump is simultaneously putting pressure on the economies of this region by trying to lower the price of oil. It's interesting that would also put a great deal of pressure on the Russian Federation as they continue to try to prosecute their war in Ukraine. So I think that you're right. They're trying to build relationships, and it's also just a complex mess of mixed incentives in which Trump continues to use security guarantees to try to extract economic leverage.